Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to a special edition. This is our calorie consumption edition on Thanksgiving of New Life Live, and we're glad that
we'll understand if you fall asleep.
You should have seen what was in my cart last weekend from Costco. I mean, boom!
It was amazing.
And I was hungry. That's a mistake you should never make.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Milan Yurkovich are joining me here on Thanksgiving.
And thankful to be here.
And really sad that last year turkeys were about $5. This year they're $75.95. But that's just what we have to deal with. But we can always be thankful. Look at this verse, or listen, please. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Now, that's really hard to do sometimes, but I think what we're talking about here is finding things, even in the worst of situations, to be grateful for. And also we can be grateful that no matter how tough something is, Romans 8:28 tells us that God is going to work with that for our good. One of the things that Viktor Frankl writes about in Man's Search for Meaning is that he was able to be grateful and tell others about this when they were in the Nazi concentration camp. He was grateful that they couldn't take his will from him. Mm-hmm. They couldn't take his mind, what he focused on. And so that's all he had, was what was inside his head. And with gratitude, he was grateful, and they weren't going to take it from him. So this is a time to think of all the obvious things we can be grateful for. But sometimes these are tough times. You're going through loss. And if you're doing that today, you could call us right now and I could get to you 8 ways to get through the holidays after a loss. And I've also got 8 ways to adopt an attitude of gratitude here on Thanksgiving. And I'm grateful for you, Jill and Milan. You guys have been such a big part of my life. And I know you probably don't want to claim that, but just imagine how bad it would be if I hadn't known you. But anyway, I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that people get to hear you and your wisdom on our program. We are grateful for everyone that tunes in, too.
Well, we want to say we're honored to be with you and with each other, and to have the privilege of knowing one another for, it's
half a lifetime or more.
It's been a while. It's been like almost 18 years.
Steve has been over half my life.
Yeah.
I've known Steve.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine life without you in it, Steve.
We're just going along here, and all of a sudden you look back and half your life you've known somebody. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
But the thing that I'm grateful for many, many things. But I'm grateful about a ministry that after 33 years, we're still helping people that struggle. And people are always going to struggle. I think the struggles are so much more complex today than they were ever before. So many more temptations and so many more influences than when we started.
Right, and access.
But God is faithful, and He's equipping Christian counselors right now in seminaries and Bible colleges all over to meet the needs. And the more complex, the more difficult, the more they study, the more they refine what they're doing. And there's so much help available. And you can get that help from us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. All you have to do is call us. Now we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going right to Maria from Boca Raton, Florida. And she listens on the internet, so we'll go to her. So glad you're with us on Thanksgiving. Don't stuff yourself too much. We hate hearing about those overstuffed days.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Southern California February 11th to the 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Stephen Arterburn here with two amazing people here on Thanksgiving, Milan Yurkovich, Dr. Jill Hubbard. We're going to talk to Maria now. Maria, welcome to New Life. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to get to speak to you briefly.
Tell us what's going on.
Well, as brief as I can make it, I called in today, first-time caller and listener, so I'm a bit nervous, so excuse me for that. I just called in because I love the Lord, and I just wanted godly wisdom on how to deal with a marriage of over 20 years where it seems like my husband just is so irrationally angry at me and has been abusive in every way, and I stayed with him for many years, did not open up about this, did not want to gossip and have it turn into gossip. I just wanted to have a godly marriage. I thought that we were in love and that we could overcome this with prayer and fasting, and now I see that it's just not happening, and he just refuses to, even though he says he's a Christian, he refuses to admit that he's even hit me. He refuses to admit that he's not providing for the family. It's like walking on eggshells. Any little thing can start a fight. If I don't say anything, there's a fight.
Yeah. And this has gone on for 20 years?
Over 20 years. We just didn't celebrate. Our 28th marriage anniversary was just a few days ago. And
now, what advice have you been given over those years? What have people told you about this situation?
Well,
what have they told you to do?
Like I said, sir, briefly, I went to counseling years ago to my pastor, and he has passed away. But I tried to go to counseling, Christian counseling, and there basically was, we have to work together, and he did not want to work together. And their reply was, you have to be in agreement. You're things I basically knew, but I basically, it was nothing more than what the Word of God, which is prominent and most important, and I'm grateful for the Word and help. But their basic review was, he doesn't love you. You're in a marriage that's abusive. He is not being faithful to you. But.
And what did they tell you to do? What was the suggestion, or
the suggestion was really just up and leave him. You can leave him and live your life, and that's not a marriage. He's not faithful to you and everything else. But if you're in a marriage, I don't know if anyone. This is why I called, to possibly help someone else that hears me, because that's what has happened to me. Mm-hmm. I accidentally listened to a program, and it ministered to me more than I could speak. And despite feeling like I shouldn't call in and I shouldn't talk bad about him, I still am trying to respect him. I just want help, because I feel like I've been through a war. I feel almost like I have PTSD.
Yeah, well, sure. Now, let me ask you this. A lot of times men with anger problems have an incredibly out of control lust problem? Was he ever unfaithful to you, or do you know if he was unfaithful?
Oh, I'm positive, and I have actual physical proof.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has children during our marriage.
Okay,
and he's brought and said these are my kids.
And you're clear that the Bible, based on that, would say it would have been okay for you to divorce him, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're calling after 20 years for what? How could we help you? What do you want us to deal with? And we feel really bad about what you've been through. So sorry.
No, I don't want anyone to feel bad. I am so grateful to just to have this opportunity, like I said, and as brief as I possibly can. What I hope for is that someone could get something, a blessing from this. I'm not calling to bash him, and I haven't spoken his name. I just want to know. I've forgiven him. I've taken strides to better myself. It's kind of difficult because there's other issues that I'm pretty sure that he has that I just wanted to know with godly wisdom how to deal with this. I mean, I should have called the police several times, and he's threatening me, saying, like, he plays all these games without getting into it.
Yeah,
I just want to have wisdom on how to act in the meantime. I'm just trying to get things together so I can provide for my...
Okay. Well, let me say this. I think we have a really good picture of what you've been through and what he's done, and we're going to give you our very best. I'll start with Jill. We're going to give you our best assessment and maybe some direction here.
Well, Maria, you sound like a very kind, loving person who wants to honor God, and that you are trying to be an honorable wife, even in the face of a husband who is very dishonorable. And I hear it sounds like your heart is that you want this man to come around and you want your marriage to be restored. And yet he's not willing. I'm not hearing any willingness on his part. And I'm hearing that you also, that you're also in danger in a sense, because he's not respecting your goodness. Right, all the good that you are trying to pour out sounds like it's being trampled upon, and so I do have concerns for you. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is allow someone to hit up against a boundary. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to tell someone it's not okay. Because if we are so loving that they can do whatever they want and there's no consequence to that, then there's no respect there, right? So not in a haughty or a harsh way, but it's okay to lovingly say, I'm not okay with this, or you can't do this, or this isn't a marriage. We must do something, and this is what I am going to do. And I heard that you talked to your pastor. Have you gotten into any therapy for yourself, Maria?
Not since, no.
Okay. Well, Maria, then you're trying, and I hear you not wanting to badmouth him, but that, I think, under the idea of kind of being honoring, I think you're doing yourself a disservice in not getting some professional help where it's confidential, and it's not about bad mouthing, it's about telling someone else the true reality of what's going on, so that you can, because you're just inside yourself trying to figure this out, right? And you need some wise counsel. The Bible talks about seeking wise counsel. That's one of the ways in which, we hear from God. Yes, we hear through his word, but we also hear through other Christians who are seasoned and have some knowledge. And so I think it would be really important for you to get into a counseling relationship where you can tell all the sordid details to help you walk through this.
Mylon, you have a thought here?
Yeah, Maria, were
Yes.
you previous to meeting your husband as a child, adolescent, were you in a situation where you were hurt and harmed, abused, and well, answer that question first. Were you in something previous to your husband like this?
No, and as a matter of fact, my father has always been just an exemplary role model to me.
I'm just wondering where all of your tentative, reserved, cautious, fearful behavior comes from. That you're having a hard time being assertive against sin. God is quite assertive against sin, and in the New Testament, both Paul, the Apostle Paul, our Lord Jesus, they confronted people by name. I'm not asking you to name him, and as to their sin. And I'm wondering, there's a reservation in you that I'm concerned about that needs to be addressed. Why can't I be more assertive to put, as Jill said, to put a line down and say, I'm done, I will not do this anymore, and to wait and see how he responds. And I'm just curious, and it could be that you're suffering from all this abuse to the point that you're in a fearful position now and you're afraid to act. But that would be what you need to work on the most, because it doesn't look like he's going to change right now. Prayer and fasting is important, but our behaviors are also supposed to be a part of our prayer and fasting. We're supposed to do things that we're commanded to do. And as Jill said, to speak the truth in love, to speak clearly that this is wrong, I'm not going to be violated any longer.
Let me just ask this. Do you have any options other than staying there with him for the rest of your life?
I'd like to say that there is plenty of options, but not as much as I would hope. No, there's not really. There's people that want to help, but they're in a position that's not very favorable for themselves.
Okay. So what you're saying is you're going to stay there and you want to have the best response possible staying in the same home with him? Because leaving is not an option. Just trying to get the... Okay. Go ahead.
I do want that option, and I'm listening very intently with what you're saying, and I'm trying to, expediently as I can. I think the thing is that I've always truly and always believed that there is good in him, that there is some good, and I was always hoping that it would come out.
Yeah,
and
but that
go ahead.
Good never comes out if it's never called out. See, and when he did this very rare physical act of violence against you, and you didn't call the police, then essentially it's saying there are no limits to what you can do to me, and I'm just going to take it. Now you come to a place where you're either going to settle for this, because he's told you I'm not changing, or you're going to start searching for options. Jesus was very clear that if you divorce and remarry somebody, he says, you're committing adultery, unless it's a case of where that person has been unfaithful to you, or abandonment by a non-believer, which sounds like he is. Boy, I don't know if he's a believer or not. But anyway, he has broken the vows, and you're free at least to live in a safe place, emotionally safe place. That's what I would focus on. How can I, whether I ever am in a relationship with anybody else or not, how could I find a way to live in a peaceful, emotionally safe place where I'm not afraid on any given day I might be abused.
Let me just add too, Maria, you are expressing something that I see in so many women who are beaten down or abused. You're living off this idea of potential, right? And especially for Christian women, getting divorced is the most abhorrent thing imaginable. And if that just is something you have, nobody ever wants divorce. But when you live off of potential, you actually go into denial yourself about the reality of what's happening. And it's a fantasy that can keep you going for years, but it's a very lonely fantasy because you're really in the relationship all by yourself.
And what we call hope sometimes has no foundation for hope. And so there, it just becomes a matter of wishing things were better. I'm going to send you a copy of the book, Take Your Life Back. I would love for you, I'm going to try to see if we can get you to restore. Hold on.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas December 3rd through the 5th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You are a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and I just want to give everybody here just a word of encouragement that sometimes you'll go to someone and they will lead you down a path that is absolutely not biblical, and they'll be using the Bible to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And here is an example of somebody that thought she was doing something that was honorable, but you don't honor dishonorable behavior. Mm-hmm. You don't act on potential. And we have to deal with the reality sooner than later, because so often in the case of both men and women, they will go to the extreme that they're allowed to go to. And you set a boundary, and you either initiate change with that boundary or you discover there is nothing here. And the sooner that we discover that, I think, the better. And maybe there is an opportunity for them to go to the Intimacy in Marriage weekend, which saves marriages worse than this. I hope so. But I'd sure like to get her to restore so that we can do some help for her no matter what he does.
I think that's a really good offer, Steve, and a very good choice.
All right, let's go to Ashley. Manassas, Virginia is where she's calling from. Hello there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing okay. How could we help today?
Yes, I was calling in today because I did not grow up in a religious household. So when it came to dating in my teen years, I did not have great boundaries. And I currently have a 15-and-a-half-year-old daughter who will be turning 16 soon. And she has asked that she could start dating. Could she get a boyfriend? We've always tried to instill in her a belief that you really don't want to get into serious dating until you're ready to get married. And she would like to be a doctor, so she has a lot of school ahead of her. And we're just trying to figure out, how do we guide her? And should we allow her to date at 16, or do we, she has a great relationship with God, so I know that she's going to have, him on her heart with boundaries, but obviously as parents, we're going to be the ones to kind of lay down the first boundaries. So just trying to figure out what to do from here.
Okay. Is a guy coming over to watch a movie with the family a date?
I would not consider that a date like what I'm thinking, because she wants to have the label of a boyfriend, girlfriend. And there has been a guy that has been coming around, and we do allow them to do things, with parents or in public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess for me, I'm not, do we allow it to go further? Because that's my question of once you start down that path, it's really hard to kind of stop and reverse out of it.
Yeah. All right. I want to hear from Mylan and Jill, and then I'll give you my 2 cents after them. Jill, what would you say to a 16-year-old who's interested in a guy's interested in her?
Well, I think you're not going to be able to keep your daughter from being interested in guys. In fact, that's a healthy thing at her age. I would define with her what you consider a date and what she considers a date, right? And you're saying she just wants the title. And so what does that mean, right? Because sometimes we hear something and we think we know what it means, but it may mean something very different, right? So it sounds like it may be a little bit of a status for her, or it's the label of somebody likes me, right? So what does that look like? Sometimes it's really nice to be able to let out the rope a little bit so that we can guide as our kids navigate things, right? And looking at, considering who they are as a person, how it's really not about age, it's about how responsible, trustworthy, capable you feel she is and mature. And then being able to talk about the guidelines. I think it's really important to start young talking about those things and then let it be a gradual thing where she gets more and more freedom as she proves to be able to handle it. And I think that's in the dating realm too.
Mm-hmm. Mylan, you have a thought here.
Yes. Ashley, your prelude to your question really is the issue here. And this is, Newton described it, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so because of what you did as a young teenager, you're trying so hard to guard against that you're coming down really hard on your daughter to prevent that from happening. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and we don't ever want to be, as parents, reactive parents. We want to be parents who have the ability to assess, and we want to be able to be aware of what is driving me as the parent. Your statements, well, we have to be the one to lay down the first boundary, and there's a lot of fear inside of you, Ashley. And perhaps that's where you need to start in your discussion with your 16-year-old daughter. Honey, here's what I did at 16. And I'm so frightened and afraid and ashamed of that. I am being too hard on you. And I'm using a lot of logic. You want to be a doctor, you have a lot of studies. So we're going to ignore that you're 16 and a girl, and we're just going to pretend that this isn't happening. So just go steady. And then that'll keep you from doing what I did. And I really want to encourage you, Ashley. I love your heart. But I want you to see that you are reacting internally. And that is what's driving the bus right now.
Yeah. Does she know about your your dating experience when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have had conversations.
Okay.
Good for you.
We'll talk to you right after this.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 25th to the 27th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we're talking here with Ashley. Ashley is still here?
Yes.
What I love about your call is it gives me the opportunity to offend a lot of people. But I want to give you the best I've got here. And we were talking at the break about, the brain is poorly developed in adolescence, but there's not that much developing of the brain between 15, 16, and 18. And at 18, she's going to go off to college with kind of the same brain as she's got today. And it sounds like she's very responsible, probably going to go into pre-med, that kind of thing. And when she, at 18, goes to college, if she doesn't date now, seduction, rejection, distraction, all these things that you could help her through now, she's going to kind of be on her own. And so my preference is to see situations progress with the opposite sex there, rather than, you can go be alone with a guy in a car tomorrow, or no, you can't be with anybody the opposite sex. So I do think it starts with dinner with him and the family, and movie with the family, and then maybe that's going well. You like this guy; he's responsible. You become people to him, and now maybe they're watching a movie alone. These kinds of things, and then you're talking to her through this and connecting with her as feelings develop. Or not, or as he gets disinterested, or not. That's my shot. I want you there with her, going through it with her while she's at home, versus first time she ever does this, she's at college.
Yeah, that's really good, Steve. And Ashley, I would say I have 2 adult daughters and 2 adult sons with their own kids, and so Kay and I talked with both our daughters equally and both of our sons equally about life, love, relationships, sexuality, romance, the values that God gives us with respect to wanting to honor him for holiness. but it was an equal push from both of us. And Kay talked as much to the boys as I did, and I talked to the girls as much as Kay did. And so they always had a place to come back and process what happened, with this relationship, and to be able to evaluate and assess. And so we want them to naturally step into life when they desire to, which at 16 she's interested and she desires. If we try and put the brakes on it, that can backfire big time, Ashley.
Now, Ashley, I'm curious what you're feeling after hearing this from us.
I love it. It's kind of the path that I was thinking of going down. Like my husband and I had discussed it, and it was something of, we want to walk alongside her during this journey and help guide her and help, her learn and pray over it all so that, yes, she can have a healthy relationship with, the males and potentially, I think this is exactly what I needed to hear, confirmation, and just like, okay, I love it. You guys are very helpful, and this is great. I definitely
and we've also talked, Steve, about fathers meeting the boyfriend, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Meeting and talking before she can date, right?
Yeah.
I appreciated that when men did that with my son. And, he was scared to death, but... Yeah. Yep. But it's a really good thing.
The other thing, I'm sorry for butting in here, but
sure.
No, go ahead.
We really have to teach young ladies what the male brain is like, and because males are affected by hormones too. And your daughter is obviously at a stage where she's gone through puberty, and she's familiar with the hormones that affect her. But hormones affect guys too, and they have a little bit of progesterone, a little bit of estrogen in there, but they got a whole lot of testosterone. And what is that stuff? What does it do to a guy? She has to learn all that stuff, and that guys aren't just male girls. They have a strong difference.
So true.
And there's a huge difference, and they need to know that. Otherwise, they're going to get swept off their feet.
But the other thing is that we need them to know and understand their own brain and their own emotion in this day and age. And you can be attracted to something not male and to help them understand that dynamic there. Or you can be attracted to an unhealthy male and understand that dynamic. You could have a great dad and be attracted to an unhealthy male, thinking that all men are great like that. I mean, a lot of different things. So it's important that you're there for her in all situations, and I love it that you called. And
I'm so glad Ashley called. It's just really important.
Yeah. So I'm going to send you How We Love. It is not a dating manual, but oh my goodness, if every person out there dating understood what is behind the person they're dating, it would be powerful. And I think you can pass that along to her. Well, Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio. Happy Thanksgiving, Larry. How are you?
Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you got involved in the whole hiring process when I was hired. So thank you, Steve, for that.
Well, it's the best hire I've ever made in my entire life. I can honestly tell you that, my friend.
But I was thinking about Thanksgiving, and we have a Club New Life member that sent in her My New Life story, telling her about what New Life means to her. And I want to read this.
Okay.
I think you know who she is. She's a friend of our ministry. But it says a lot to me because it says something about you and your heart. It says, what brought me to New Life was your book, The God of Second Chances. Excuse me. I was struggling with the awful realization that I had murdered my own child through an abortion. I was filled with guilt, shame, regret, despair at what I had done. I read your story, which gave me a ray of hope that there was a God of mercy and love and forgiveness who provided an answer to my heartache. I'm not sure how I found New Life on the radio, but I began listening. The fusion of psychology and biblical principles helped me on my journey of healing and reconciliation with the God of heaven and earth through his son, Jesus. My journey took many years with a number of different people and ministries helping me. Again, New Life through the book Healing is a Choice, as well as the workshop where I attended, was another instrumental resource. Thank you for showing me there was a way of lasting transformation. That's just a big deal, because and I know this lady, and she has been a very generous donor, she and her husband.
So here's what I was thinking, Larry, that somebody supported us when she first heard the program.
Wow.
Got
Good
the
point.
book.
Yep.
And now I would have to say, I know who this is too. Because of her, because somebody supported us and she heard us, I would say because of her, literally thousands or tens of thousands individually have been helped by the support that she's given to us.
Wow.
Exactly. And folks, you could take that same role. We just need more people like this that will come aboard and just believe in what this ministry is, what Steve started 33 years ago. And that book, God of Second Chances, was a big deal, as was Healing is a Choice. So anything you can do to make a gift, to remember us at year end, there's so many ways to give. I mean, I could talk for longer than we have time, but I won't.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And on Thanksgiving, what a great thing. Out of gratitude, if you could call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and support this ministry, we would be so, so grateful, or go to newlife.com. Would mean a lot to us and the people like this woman who want, need, hear hope rather than just shame, guilt, and really suffering when the God of second chances is there for them. Anything else you want to say, Larry?
No, I don't think so. Just be mindful, folks, that year-end giving is right up here upon us, and December is a big deal. So we're looking forward to you making a gift and making maybe a gift a little extraordinary for you. And it might be a stock gift. It could be a gift to our scholarship fund. It could be joining Club New Life. What a way to give. So you're giving every single month. So
Can I say something here?
Sure.
Okay. I'm thankful that this is a ministry of great stewardship. I see a lot, because we have a diverse exposure base of Kay and I do. I see so many things, ministries, people that squander, take advantage, and don't utilize things well, or are not good stewards of what they've been gifted with, be it personal skills and gifts or financial. This is a place where an investment is going to be used well. I'm thankful for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, year-end giving can be the beginning of a new life living for somebody that you impact. So please help us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and happy Thanksgiving.
Did you just
We'll
make
be back.
that up? Because that was good.
I did.
Wow, that was
right.
good. That's why you're
be
the
right
host.
back. Final segment.
Host and poet.
And I am going to go to Marissa as they make fun of my attempts to communicate truth to people on this program. We'll take this break. If you need some help, by the way, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, that's it. Or if you can help us, it'll make a difference. Look at the difference someone's help made in this woman's life, and how many lives have been impacted since. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800. New Life.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We've got a lot of things for you if you want them. 5 irrefutable truths that can change your life can be downloaded. 8 ways to develop that attitude of gratitude and getting through the holidays through loss. All of that is available to you. And we would absolutely love to send that at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Well, I was going to Marissa, but she had to go, and I really feel sad about that. But we'll go to Betsy, Boston, Massachusetts. Betsy will be our final caller. So sorry I didn't get to the rest of you. Boston, Massachusetts, great station, WEZE. How you doing? And welcome to New Life Live. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. They have an expression up here when we come with off-the-handle poems like you recently did.
What do they call that? Genius? Or what is it?
They say you're a poet and you didn't know it. But you're a poet and I think you do know it.
That's cute.
You do it frequently and they're awesome.
Yeah, I was joking with my publisher the other day that I really felt like people needed a new book of poetry because no one buys poetry. Anyway, okay, how could we help you? What's going on in your life today?
Well, I am starting with a new therapist next week, and I am considering the possibility of EMDR. I don't know this therapist from any sort of personal recommendation. She came recommended by, I don't remember what they're called, but I'm new to Medicare, and it's somebody who helps you find what you need to find. So I let the person that I was working with personally know that I'm a believer and that's really important to me. And I've spoken with the therapist twice, and each time I spoke with her, I felt really comfortable with her and liked her manner very much. But I've also heard you say that when you're working with an EMDR therapist, you need to have certain guidelines for spiritual safety, I guess you'd say. And I was wondering if you could help me figure out how to address that with her.
Well, first of all, I don't know what you said or was said, but I'll tell you from right now, I don't think people that specialize in EMDR are threats to your spiritual life unless they have some kind of vendetta or some kind of bad attitude about Christians in general, which they should be dealing with as a professional, and they haven't. Most of the time, they are strictly focused on what was that traumatic thing or things or stage or phase, and they're going to help you with some techniques to integrate that into all of who you are, and so that it doesn't become a huge point of reaction when something might trigger that. So I would say that. But if you have asked for a specialist and they've sent you to a specialist, the first question I would ask her is just, are you a specialist in EMDR? And maybe given your concerns, the next question would be, how do you feel about a person who is a believer, a Christian? Is that, you think that'll be a problem for us together? Might be a second question. Jill, what do you think would be a good way to approach it?
I think those are both really good things, Betsy. And the fact that you feel comfortable with her is a good sign. I know therapists who are not necessarily Christian but don't have a problem with people's faith, right? And as therapists, we're not there to take your faith away from you. right? We're there to help you make the connections that make sense to you. Sometimes people use an EMDR therapist as an adjunct to treatment, so they have their regular therapist, and then they bring that person in to do the specialty of EMDR. So that's a way to go too. If you have a therapist who's a Christian, then you could go to this other person for the technique and then continue to process with your therapist.
Mylan, your thoughts here?
I just agree with you both. I don't think that they're inherently a danger to your faith. They're not trying to eradicate any of your belief systems. But it's very valuable for you to tell them is I am a spiritually oriented person with a high level of faith. How does that factor in? And just present an open question like that. and if you,
I like that.
Yeah, and if you then find that their answer is something that makes sense and is comfortable, I would say that's a good choice.
Yeah. Now, having said what I just said, I went to one EMDR specialist, and he was not against my faith whatsoever. But one of the things he said was so offensive to me that I could not go back.
Oh, that's great, Steve.
And so it wasn't that he wanted to destroy my faith. It's just that he really wasn't a very wise person in certain areas, so I didn't go back. So, if you were to hear someone say something like, well, I'm not even going to say it. But anyway, so you just need to be sure they have a good reputation, and that and at any time, if something is said or you feel something that it's not really comfortable for you with regards to your faith, then that's it. But what I do like is that you're wanting to use a developing technology that definitely wasn't around when the Apostle Paul was alive. That's right. But it is something that the brains that God has given people, they've developed this to help people in ways just weren't helped before. So I just hope and pray that that's helpful to you, and I want to send you. Yes?
I'm sorry. If you go to EMDRIA, which stands for International Association.org, you can find out the category or the level of training this therapist has had. Steve, I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, that's good. I'm glad that you gave that. And 1-800-NEW-LIFE will try to help you find somebody in your area that can help you the very best. That's what we have been doing.
You said what you were going to send her. I cut you off there. I apologize. You were going to send her something.
A thank you note for calling our ministry. And along with that, how about I send her a copy of Take Your Life Back.
That's a good idea.
And Healing is a Choice.
Good.
Maybe both of those could be helpful. Well, we are just about out of time. And if you haven't heard, you could give the greatest gift ever to your wife by going to Every Man's Battle. And here's the cool thing. It's the greatest gift you could give to yourself, because you want to be the man God called you to be, or you wouldn't be listening to this program. And you want to be something more than you are. And getting out of pornography or lust or prostitutes or whatever, that's the beginning. We've said it before, no one thing fixes everything, but one thing can destroy everything in a ministry, in a marriage. It can do it. So you don't want to just say it's not that bad. Get it taken care of. Call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It's December the 3rd. Also, if you know somebody that needs this, maybe you're married to that human being, you can call and we'll tell you how to talk to them about it. In this ending for Thanksgiving, just want to be sure that Dr. Jill Hubbard and Mylan know how much I appreciate you, grateful for you, grateful for all of you that support us and listen, watch, pray for us. Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.